We are seeing some lake effect. Now, we're going to, before we get to this, let's break this down. We're going to see three phases of the evolution of this snowy pattern we're going to get into, all right? The first one is kind of the one ongoing now, and it's probably the weaker of the three. As we look at Stormfox radar, you can kind of see it is snowing, and we've had some light snow, and the winds have been really strong. So most of the snow here on the wait for it. There we go. On the map is primarily out east, not really a traditional lake effect type setup, but there is some accumulation here. Notice to the west, this is cloud cover. In fact, we're seeing a little peak of sun to the west of Mansfield. So we're not anticipating much daily accumulation out east. Winds will be out of the west and southwest. The winds are really strong today. And the temperatures will remain in the lower 30s. So what we're looking at is round two, or phase two, as a band of lake effect that will develop along with a cold front, by the way. This isn't just lake effect. It'll develop a late evening, and it'll continue to drift south and southeast overnight through the morning commute tomorrow. I think a general 3 to 6 inches of snow is likely with this, at least across 70% of the area. So again, we talk about general snow here. This is going to be fairly impactful, and it will impact areas that are outside of the traditional snow belt. Phase three is tomorrow. Once that fades, then we get into this more traditional lake effect with the heavier amounts out east. So that's your breakdown. And in fact, we're already seeing the beginnings of that cold front right there, and some pretty decent lake effect off of Lake Michigan. So kind of a rain-snow mix to the east. See how it just kind of clips northern Geauga, Lake, Ashtabula County. And then notice how about by mid-evening we start to see a band developing here. This is what we'll be watching. It kind of connects up with the ongoing lighter lake effect that's impacting the snowbelt now. And this is going to be running into the cold front's going to help enhance this. So it's lake effect with the passage of a front, and then notice by midnight it starts to drift south, and so eventually we are looking at that as phase two. So most of the snow we have here, this is what's going to fall mainly later today and this evening. Again, a couple of inches of quick accumulation east. And then that band of general call, the combination of lake effect and cold frontal snow, moves south and southeast. It develops along the shoreline, then it heads south. Notice here's our future cast by tomorrow morning. It'll be right through Akron, Medina, even all the way down into Worcester and Canton. And then eventually it fades. We get a nice break, and then we kind of get this traditional lake effect. I'm calling it that here, with this westerly wind. Now, this will also impact eastern Cuyahoga, potentially northern Summit, northern Portage counties tomorrow, and then eventually the winds start to shift and that lake effect will shut down Tuesday night. So that's kind of what we're going with. So the snow tonight, again, we're looking at 3 to 5. I would say there'll be a sharp cutoff, by the way. Southern Medina, southern Summit, southern Portage County, probably 1 to 2. Northern half of those counties, between 2 and 4. And then it looks like maybe around Strongsville, 4 to 5. So that's kind of what we're looking at. Again, this map doesn't show those hyper local details that can vary from mile to mile because it's a large map. So you're going to have some sharp cutoffs in those counties. And then we get into those higher amounts out east later on tomorrow. So I try to separate all that for you here as the 8-day forecast indicates. Most of it melts off, which is really common in early December. You typically don't generate a lot of snow cover in early December. Even back in the 70s and 80s, you had those Decembers where you had snow cover that melted off pretty quick. Anyway, here's your 8-day forecast. We got temps in the 40s with rain Friday, and again on Sunday. You can follow me on Instagram, Scott Sable Pics. I'll be posting some updates here as this continues to develop. I have some forecast information there. And you can follow us on the Forecast Weather app. We have the clickable weather forecast there. What else do we have? On the forecast discussion, we got you covered here. Again, we're trying not to blow this out of proportion, but this is the first lake effect snow event of the season. And you know how it is, everybody. The first time we see it, it's a shock to the system. So there will be some delays tomorrow morning to deal with, maybe some closings if this happens to occur at the wrong time of the morning. Again, we'll keep you updated throughout the day.